Hello and welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My guest today is John Otocka from Hometown Remodeling here in Hampton Roads. Thank you for joining us, John.
Thank you for having me.
I know this is a busy time of year for you. Everybody doing summer remodeling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we had an opportunity to talk last week. And it was very interesting. Why don't you just tell us a little bit, like an overview, bird's eye view of Hometown Remodeling? What do you all do?
Well, one thing about Hometown Remodeling is we do a little bit of everything. Quite frankly, we're a Class A contractor, but we're also a builder. So I think what most homeowners find is our main focuses are on kitchens, bathroom remodeling, windows, siding, roofing. So, you know, we can take care of the exterior of people's homes, and we also take care of the interiors as well. So that's what we find that has been one of our biggest strengths, is being able to help people out on the outside and the inside.
And I know when we were speaking, you mentioned to me that one of your all's goals is to be a local resource for remodeling in Hampton Roads, sort of like your one-stop shop for all of those needs.
Well, yeah, and actually that was that's what made the name Hometown Remodeling. I mean, our goal was to be your hometown company. So when it comes time that maybe you need that new roof, well, you call us, we come out, we take care of the roof. And then, maybe 6 months or a year later, you decide you want to remodel that kitchen. Well, we come in and we help you out. We remodel your kitchen. And then, a few years pass by and the windows are getting old, they're getting leaky, they need to replace them. Well, the idea is to develop that relationship with the consumer, with that homeowner, so that every time that a need arises, they'll actually call us. The trust is there. They know the quality that they're going to get. They don't have to second guess anything. And we can actually build a relationship with that client for years down the road. So, I know a lot of people spend, hours and time shopping around for different projects, and a lot of people tell us that gets really old. If they could just call one person and they could just come out and take care of them, it comes back to it. We just want to be their hometown company.
Right. Okay, well that's a good reason for the name.
Yeah, well that's why you got Hometown Remodeling.
Now you are in a very competitive business. I mean, there's a lot of people out there doing all kinds of variations on remodeling, and maybe they only do roofing, or maybe they only do siding, or maybe they do a few, or whatever. What sets you apart in your mind from a lot of the competitors out there?
Well, quite frankly, I think probably the biggest thing is our ability to do everything. I mean, just like you said, there's a lot of competition out there, but most guys only come out and do one thing, or do this or do that. We've had some great experiences with some clients because, I'll go out to see a customer, they've gotten an estimate from one guy for a roof, they've gotten an estimate for another guy from siding, and, they're sitting here going back and forth, well, who do I hire to complete all these jobs for me? And I'm like, well, I can pretty much take care of them all. So at that point, as long as I'm giving them top quality customer service, I'm giving them good prices, great products, at that point, I can just make it a lot easier just by letting me do it all.
Well, one of the things I would think that can also do is help reduce finger pointing, because there's no one to point the finger to but you.
Oh, there is no finger pointing. And you know what? There's no finger pointing in our company. As you may have heard, in the political world, the buck stops here. Well, we've got great guys working for us, and if something goes wrong, guess what? It's our fault. Doesn't matter if it's a manufacturer, doesn't matter if it's an installer, we're the ones that are responsible for what takes place. And, whether it's, I've seen many a times where you get a customer, they get a new roof, and then a year later they buy siding. It's from two totally different companies. Well, now they got a leak. Well, the roofer's going to tell you it's a siding's, problem. The siding guy's going to tell you it's the roofer's fault. Well, whose fault is it? Well, guess what? If it's us, it's our fault.
I know when we talked, one of the things that I picked up in the conversation was that the ethics of the company. One of the things that you all do is really put a lot of emphasis on honest communication. That was a big topic in our conversation. It kept coming up over and over and over. Can you just expand on that? With your honest communication with your customer, what do you mean by that?
Well, you know, me and my partners, we've been in this area for most of our lives. So, you know, one thing that's very important is, first off, my last name, it's not a last name you're going to commonly find. So, you know, we want people to trust us. We want people to know that we want to have a long-lasting relationship with them. So, you know, it comes down to one simple thing: do the job right. You know, if you have honest prices, you know, you have good quality products, and you communicate well with your customers, well, you know what? That makes it easy to trust you. Because there's so many people out there that are telling their customer, oh, well, I'll do this or I'll do that, and then they don't do it. And then the customer loses all faith in the person they're dealing with. Well, with us, ethics is everything. It's integrity. I mean, you've got to make sure that that customer knows how much you care about them. And the truth is, I care a lot about them. Because most of our business comes by word of mouth. It comes from referrals. You're not going to get any business if everyone out there is saying something bad about you. So you want to make sure you communicate with them. You send them emails, you call them on the phone, you know, you touch base with them throughout the relationship. And you know what? That's the other thing. A lot of people do business with companies and then they're done and the homeowner never hears from them again. Wouldn't you like to get a phone call a week later or a month later or 6 months later saying, hey, I just wanted to check in with you. You know, how's everything going? You know, did everything working well? Are you satisfied? Everything's good. Oh, wonderful, great. I mean, I had a couple customers that after we got a lot of the heat spell, I mean, just a couple weeks ago, we had summertime, very hot. Did some attic installation jobs. Well, you know, I called them up to ask them, did you notice a difference in your house? Were you happy with everything? And it was amazing how much those people appreciated me just following up. And then, of course, in following up, got a few referrals. So that's what business is about, taking good care of people, and you'll find that they want to tell everyone and their friends, family about you, so you just get more business.
Okay, so we've talked about the company, an overview of the company, and ethics and honest communication and all. Let's talk about some of the products, particular products and services that you have. I know that you have some unique things or some things that you specialize in. One of them in our conversation came up as Energy Star Roofing. And I thought that was very interesting because I had not actually gone into that with anybody before. Can you tell us about that, what Energy Star Roofing is?
Absolutely. Energy Star Roofing is simply that. It's an Energy Star roof. You can put a roof on your house that's going to lower your utility bills. It's going to save you money. It's going to help with insulation. And, you know, that's something that we found is something that should be talked about more. I mean, when people are replacing their windows, they want energy efficient windows. Well, think about it. All summer long, what part of your house is the sun hitting the most? Your roof. Well, I mean, people are out there all day long, other companies, and they're just putting regular roofs on people's houses. And that's great. It's a roof, it won't leak, they don't have any problems, but it doesn't save them any money. The idea is for us to be able to put a roof on a person's house that saves you money. And in the long run, basically, you now have a roof that's going to pay for itself. I mean, when people find out that they can have a roof that not only saves them money, but actually turns into an investment, something that's done, it'll be paid for, you know, within the next 20 or 30 years, well, isn't that a whole lot better than putting just a plain roof on your house that really, the only return on investment that you have is that it doesn't leak?
Right. Well, I had just not heard the term. Of course, I haven't bought a roof in a while. So.
And the idea is most people understand that in the summertime, you know, the sun comes down through your shingles, your attic gets real hot, and then that heat transfers into your house. Well, they're using reflective shingles now. I mean, and they look just like normal shingles. Most homeowners can't tell the difference between one house and another. And, you know, we have different installations that we can use with them. So the key is just being able to give people better technology. And that's what's happened. The roofing industry has come out with a much better technology for a lot of their products. And a lot of the contractors out there just, you know, it's back down to price. You said it's competitive. Well, there's a certain point where being the cheapest guy really isn't being the best. Giving your customer the best products is.
All right, we're going to talk about price in just a second. Let's go on to another product you mentioned to me was blind. You have a blind program.
Yes. Well, okay. You know, I've been in this industry for 15 years. I've been dealing with windows pretty much since college. And the thing is that homeowner after homeowner after homeowner used to complain about how they would have to deal with their blinds whenever you're replacing their windows. Because that's how pretty much all the window companies in Hampton Roads operates. You know, you go out, you sell them windows, what do they get told? Oh, well, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, you have to take the blinds down and put them back up. I recently did a job for a customer, wonderful people, but you know what? They were older, you know, dealing with the blinds was not something they were looking forward to. The blinds in their house were just as old as the windows were. So, I mean, you start touching their blinds too much and they're starting to fall apart. Well, what we found is, you know what, why don't we take care of the blinds? You know, if so many people are replacing their windows and they're going to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy new blinds, wouldn't it be better if we just took care of all of it for them? So now we have a program with select windows. We're actually going to give them new blinds for free. And we're not talking about the cheap ones. We're talking about the nice 2-inch faux wood composite blinds, installed, custom made. So these things are custom width, custom height. They're made to fit their window opening. And even if you go to your typical big box store, it's not really custom size. They're still, you know, having those big, you know, bunches up, down at the bottom. Ours are going to be custom fitted. And like I said, with select windows, we do that for free. It's just a service we offer.
Well, you can't hardly beat free.
Yeah, no, you can't beat free.
All right, so that leads me into talking about the best price guarantee that you mentioned to me that you have, because price came into our conversation, and so tell us about your best price guarantee.
Well, the best price guarantee comes out of one simple fact. We want to be upfront and honest with all of our customers. Taking the windows, for example. You know, there's tons of companies out there selling windows. You know, so a lot of people, they have a hard time sometimes setting themselves apart. Well, you know, a lot of companies use different sales tactics. Some people start, you know, will tell you a price, oh, we're going to be $1,000 a window, but hey, if you buy tonight, it's only going to be, you know, $500 a window. You know, they play different games. Other companies are like, hey, these windows are only going to be $150 installed. And then after you sit down with the sales rep for an hour and a half, next thing you find out, they're going to cost twice that. So with us, we said, you know what? We know how much these products cost. We have great installers. We know how much everything is. Why don't we just go in there and give them an honest price to start with? No games, no bull, you know, and for example, call me up on the phone at my office and ask me how much a window costs. I'm going to tell you right over the phone. And there's not going to be any bull. There's not going to be any games. You know, we do carry a wide selection of windows. So whether you're wanting an economy window for rental properties, whether or not you're wanting a high-end window for a high-end property, you know, we're still going to offer you that best price guarantee. We're still going to offer you honest prices. And that's really where it started. So when it comes down to siding, now with kitchens, it's a little bit different because, you know, everyone's got different types of granite or quartz. So you can't offer, you know, always offer a best price guarantee on countertops. But when it comes to windows, siding, and some of the other products we offer, we have that.
Okay. And now you also have something that's somewhat unique in the industry in a lot of areas, like roofing or siding or whatever, but you have a no money down policy, which I found interesting in our conversation because you know, you hear nightmare stories about, you know, people find, you know, putting 50% down or 75% down, and then the contractor doesn't show up for months or whatever, you know. And so this is what led into that conversation. And so you all have a no money down policy for your residential clients.
That is correct. And this just comes back around to honesty or integrity and ethics and different things like that. Here's what I've learned. Being in the industry for as long as I have, a lot of companies do ask for money down. And you know, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you know, when you create a company, I mean, our business is 10 years old. When you want that business to last, because that's where this all stems out of. A lot of customers ask us, you know, John, how do I know you're still going to be here, you know, in another 5 years? How do we know we can depend on you? Well, we don't take any money down for two reasons. The first one, and this is the simplest, well, we don't have to pay for your windows when we order them. We don't have to pay for your siding when we order them. You know, that's one thing that I think has been very misleading in the home improvement industry is, you know, salesmen go in and say, well, we need half down for these windows or this siding or whatever it is. And the problem is that most of those companies that take deposits, they just take that money, put it in their checking account. I mean, they're ordering their windows and siding the same way I do. If you have good credit I mean, if you're established, you've got good credit, there's no one out there when they order their windows that they have to pay for them right then and there. We all order the siding, the windows, the roofing, the materials come in. At that point, we come out and put it on the homeowner's house. At that point, sure, when we're done installing your product, yeah, we want to get paid. But, you know, I don't know about you, but when you go to work on Monday, do you have to, you know, do you get half your paycheck on Monday? No, our installers are just like you and I are. You know, we go to work all week, we work hard, then next week, we get a paycheck. Most homeowners understand that. Right. You know, they know that, hey, most of these things aren't being paid for until after the job's done. So if I took that 50% down and I spend it, well, where's the money coming from to pay for their job? You know, it keeps the homeowner very comfortable to know that, hey, I don't have to pay these guys till my windows are installed. So, hey, I know I can trust them. I'm not going to, you know, there's no writing a deposit. So then they go to bed that night and think, you know, oh gosh, I hope this guy shows up, you know. He said we're not getting these windows for 4 weeks, and we just gave him a check for $2,000, and then they can't sleep. With me, they can sleep great. Yeah. So because they know they're not writing that check till those windows come out to their house. But the idea also is simply when a homeowner asks me, John, how do I know that you're going to be here 5 years from now? How do I know that Hometown Remodeling is still going to be here? The answer to the question is very simple. Well, I can't steal from myself. You know, this company is going to stay solvent because, you know, we're actually using your money to pay for your materials and your job.
Right. Well, you know, it's very apparent in talking to you today, and certainly was when I met with you last week, that you're very passionate about what you do. You apparently really like what you do, and have a passion for working with people and your customers. How did you get in this, or what is your background? Because we didn't talk about your background at all.
Well, I've been in the industry for 15 years. I've been at a multitude, well, not a multitude is probably not the best way to put it, but I've worked for 3 or 4 home improvement companies over the years. So one thing that was always a gift for me is I got to watch other people make mistakes. So I got to learn from that. But I was a PM.
Experience is a great
Experience
teacher,
is a great
but
thing.
But the tuition is high.
well, and you know, I've made some of those mistakes myself, and that's where the experience really comes in. But you know, through my travels and through my experiences, I found myself working with 2 wonderful people, the partners and owners of Hometown Remodeling, which is Rob Elliott and Richard Cluens, and you know, they brought me on at their business to come in and have a big impact on the way things are done. And the one thing that's wonderful with them is that they already have the ethics. I mean, some of the policies I didn't have to change, and that's where we mix so well. But my experience comes from dealing with so many different manufacturers over the years. I've been on the installation side of things, I've been on the marketing side. I've seen it from all sides. So when someone asks me, well, John, how are you going to put this on my house? I can explain it. I know how it's done. It's not something where I come out and sell them a bag of goods and hope that it goes up the way it's supposed to. Right. You know, we can actually come in and lead with experience. And I mean, between the 3 of us, me and the other 2 owners, I mean, we have probably over 40 years experience in this industry, if not more. I mean, one of my partners, Rob, he actually built his own house 20 years ago. So, I mean,
when you build your own house, you tend to do it right.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. It is done right. And, you know, that's, again, back to the name, Hometown Remodeling, wanting to be there for our customer in every job that they do. We got to do every job right. Because if you do it wrong, they're not going to call you back for the next one. Right. So.
All right, so is there anything that, I know we've got such a wide range of services and things, but is there anything that you would like to mention that I haven't talked about?
Well, yes, actually the one thing that's very important with home improvements, if you don't mind, is really the installation. That's one thing that impressed me at this company. I've been familiar with Hometown Remodeling for the past 10 years, even when I worked at other home improvement companies. But the one thing that impressed me was actually one of the lead installers at Hometown Remodeling put my windows in my house about 10 years ago, and he's still there. The siding guys that were at this company, because I actually worked at this company a long time ago, and the siding guys that were there 10 years ago, they're still there. You know, how many home improvement companies can you go to and find that a siding installer or a gutter installer or a window installer or a cabinet installer, you know, these guys are still there years later. A lot of these guys, you know, they're they're moving around. This company takes very, very good care of its staff, and so therefore it has a very high retention rate. So, you know, when I tell someone, hey, your windows are being installed by the same guy that put in mine, I'm telling the truth. That was 10 years ago.
Right.
And that makes me feel good because I know that they're going to get the best installation out there because we still got the same guys. So other than that, you know, we always have some great monthly specials and things like that that homeowners like.
Okay, all right, well, cool. So if you are looking to have some remodeling done, roofing, siding, windows, you can reach John Otocka at Hometown Remodeling. The contact information is at the end of this video, and it's also on this page. So it's a real pleasure in having you here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. I wish you a lot of success.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.